2018 Renault Zoe Hatchback Review. The good points of Renault Zoe Hatchback: extremely low running costs, zero tailpipe emissions, futuristic drive, super quiet about. The bad points of Renault Zoe Hatchback: relatively limited range, time instructed to charge, really poorly ride, oddly high driving position. Renault can be a trailblazer in relation to affordable electrification as well as the Zoe hatchback, using its claimed 250-mile range, is easily the most convincing fossil fuel alternative this side of your Tesla. Rivals just like the Nissan Leaf and Smart 4 electric drive can't match the French car's range, and although a conventional hatchback much like the Skoda Fabia could prove cheaper to perform, it doesn't offer zero tailpipe emissions. It's worth taking into consideration that electric car ownership continues to be a bit more complicated compared to the plug-and-play nature that car makers would have you believe. This full report on the Renault Zoe will disclose exactly how realistic HEV ownership is designed for you. Renault Zoe is perfect for urban driving. In town the Zoe feels very swift off the line with thanks to the instant torque of the company's electric motor. This produces 92 horsepower or 88 horsepower determined by version and 220 Nm of pulling power. While the very first 30 miles per hour feels brisk, the Zoe's punch does tail off within the way-to-motorway speeds, providing a 0.62 miles per hour period of in 13.5 seconds. That figure is around as relevant because 84 miles per hour top speed though. This is often a car that can spend most of the company's life from the city with occasional jaunts further afield. Capable as much as 250 miles per charge. Like another plug-in vehicle, the most important concern for potential Zoe buyers may be the car's range. Renault provides the Zoe using a choice of two batteries -22 kWh and 41 kHW. Giving a theoretical choice of 149 and 250 miles respectively. Here's where it turns into a bit complicated though, because in fact the range has to be little shorter than this, determined by factors for example driving style, ergonomics, along with the weather, truth be told. We've detailed the way in which this works within the performance section. How long it'll decide on charge is a movable feast, and also two battery types. There can also be a quick charge option. This definitely does exactly what it says around the tin, as well as a variety of different speed charging points to work with. Again, we'll explain this fully later inside performance section. For some context though, the greatest battery takes 15 hours to charge by using a domestic plug, however over 1 hour on a fast charger. Don't forget battery leasing. As well as purchasing or financing the automobile, the following biggest pricing is the battery. You can either buy this outright or lease it from Renault, these option covering you just in case it goes wrong. The government still gives a £4,500 plug-in vehicle grant, meaning the Zoe's monthly costs on the PCP are competitive with petrol or diesel alternatives, and you can expect to aspect in an additional £49 to £110 30 days for the battery dependent upon annual mileage. As such the Zoe is merely really a clean and cheap substitute for the internal combustion engine, providing your own self matches its group of attributes. Watch this full Renault Zoe review if that's the way it is. The verdict. The mainstream electric car felt just like a pipe dream for several years, available merely to off-grid types who make his or her shoes and own a windmill generator. Here can be a hatchback that, for urban use, are going to be virtually indistinguishable from a regular fossil-fueled car. Yes, you have to plug it in, but for the now constant must find a charger for anything from your smartphone on your Dyson machine. The actual fact you don't must do the same along with your car is starting to become increasingly weird. If you desire an electric car plus your budget doesn't stretch with a Tesla, say hello for your next number of wheels. Very quick to get off of the mark. Slower to accelerate away. Only one gear, comparable to driving an automobile. Renault Zoe performance comes courtesy of a power motor with 92 horsepower and 220 Nm of torque. The quick charge version has slightly less power, at 88 horsepower, but we don't think you'll notice. This means a 0.62 miles per hour use of 13.5 seconds as well as a top speed tied to 84 miles per hour. Not figures to put the world ablaze. Nevertheless, the good news is that it feels nippy around town centers. The pulling power is accessible no matter where you are inside the rev range, meaning it feels sooner than it is. There's instant go there anytime you plant your foot. It does tail off slightly as wind resistance actually starts to become a factor, but we're uncertain many Zoe buyers is going to be hitting motorway speeds for too long. Well, not when they want to visit anywhere near the automobile's maximum range. Not so quick about the motorway. Effectively it only has one gear, thus it works similar to an automatic. You simply pull kid lever into D and you're ready to go. One thing that can jolt if you're employed to driving combustion-engined cars will be the regenerative braking. When you take your foot over accelerator, the Zoe automatically sets out to slow down in order to charge it. With some practice you can easily drive using just one single pedal, by pressing the accelerator to visit faster and releasing it to decrease. What will be the Renault Zoe's range? Right. This can be a bit complicated, however the headline 250-mile range for your Renault Zoe is usually a theoretical figure based around the most powerful battery. For the smaller 22 kWh version, this number is 149 miles. Renault says in fact you should expect slightly under this, with 106,180 miles quoted for summer driving, dropping to 71,115 miles in the wintertime. Obviously the stove is dependent on the driving style, whether you've got air concept to Baltic, and just how many passengers you're conveying, but that's not different to a standard car. How long does a Renault Zoe decide to use charge? How long is often a piece of string? Without being awkward, this really is dependent upon several factors. There's 2 different battery sizes and 4 kinds of charger. Renault Zoe batteries can be found in either 22 kWh or 41 kWh using a fast charge option within the latter. Obviously the larger option takes longer to charge. In the UK you will find currently 3 charging speeds helpfully called slow, fast and rapid. You'll want to make use of the second 2 using the Zoe. We've put down what you should be expecting below, and all sorts of figures allow me to share laid out in this way. 22 kWh 41 kWh 41 quick charge, for simplicity. Slow charge 3 kilowatts. This describes an average domestic 3-pin plug, that can take, to be honest, ages to charge your Zoe. Expect 9 hours 15h 30 minutes, good enough to make ownership a clumsy proposition. Fast charge 7 kilowatts single or 22 kilowatts 3-phase. Thankfully you could have a single-phase wall box positioned in your home at no cost. This special plug charges you your car in 34 hours 7h 30 mins 8h 30 minutes, quick enough for the nighttime fill. Outside your house you'll find 3-phase charge points, which might be quicker still. -1 hour 45 minutes 80%, 2 hours 40 mins 2h 40 minutes. These are sometimes set up on workplaces and public car parks, and most cases need a subscription to make use of. Rapid charge 43 kilowatts. The fastest of chargers currently is generally found at motorway service stations and charges your car or truck to 80% in 60 mins, one each 40 mins 65 minutes. Light, feedback-free steering. Easy drive an automobile but not sporty. Great in town agility though. On the path the Zoe is quite easy there driving. It has light steering, which although absolutely free of feedback, is sharp and responsive. The car can be quite easy to operate a vehicle in tight spaces because of its small turning circle, while parking isn't difficult because of excellent visibility helped further from the reversing camera standard on signature nav, optional on other trims. It's not much of a performance car, and that's highlighted from the amount of body roll the Zoe exhibits when cornering. It doesn't become unruly, but repeated enthusiastic cornering may well have rear seat passengers reaching with the sick bag. Unusually for any high-tech modern car, the Zoe actually uses a normal handbrake in preference to the more common electric type. High driving position. Simple, ergonomic controls. Digital screen replaces dials. The first thing that strikes you about sitting in the driver's seat of the Zoe is the place where high the driving position is. In front on the driver is usually a swish-looking dash that displays information like vehicle speed and charge remaining. You can select a number of different graphics schemes and it'll also demonstrate if you're in eco mode or you cannot. The 7.0-inch touchscreen sat-nav strategy is placed from the center with the dash and seems very easy to operate. It is clear and easy, and appearance good too on account of the gloss black and chrome touches. Other controls are an easy task to operate too. There's a stereo stalk behind the steering wheel as well as the air conditioning switch gears large enough to simply operate. In relation to its interior construction, the Zoe feels very futuristic and you will discover an array of different plastics, most of which feel somewhat cheap. Comfy seats set high up. Could do with more bolstering. Impressive ride quality. Comfort levels are fairly high inside Renault Zoe. The front seats are supportive and comfy. The inside bolstering does its far better to hold you constantly in place through enthusiastic cornering. It's an exceptionally quiet destination for a B. There's merely the slightest of whispers in the electric motor, while wind and road noise simply aren't a concern, certainly out. The ride quality is impressive too. Bumps and holes inside road are absorbed well, and that is going to be a major bonus for UK drivers. There can be a trio of apparatus levels available within the Renault Zoe: Expression Nav, Dynamic Nav and Signature Nav. Standard Renault Zoe equipment. The entry-level Expression Nav model includes 15-inch wheel trims, digital dashboard, cruise control and speed limiter, automatic climate control, Renault Link multimedia system on 7.0-inch touchscreen, TomTom Live navigation. Dynamic Nav models have long-range ZE 40 battery providing 250-mile range, 16-inch alloy wheels, chrome front grille surround, black Dynamic Nav upholstery, leather-covered wheel, automatic lights and wipers, uprated stereo, rear parking sensors. Signature Nav trim sits at the top of the product range, featuring 16-inch alloys, signature sill plate and badges, premium synthetic leather upholstery, bronze-colored accents, electrically folding door mirrors, heated front seats, Bose 3D sound, Renault Zoe optional extras. There's almost no choice here other compared to blue interior touch pack, which adds colorful touches on the interior of your vehicle, as well as some different interior mats plus a boot protector. Renault Zoe rated 5 stars by Euro NCAP. 3 ISOFIX mounts, 1 front as well as back. Simulated engine noise to warn pedestrians. There isn't large volumes to worry about regarding Renault Zoe safety. A 5-star Euro NCAP crash testing score highlights simply how much work may be done in airborne area. To help warns pedestrians of the company's approach, the Zoe emits an audio when traveling at speeds all the way to 18 miles per hour. This continues to be developed with the help of visually impaired, those who may not realize there is often a car into their vicinity unless they're able to hear it. Standard safety equipment includes ABS and escape electronic stability control, driver, front passengers, side and head airbags. 3 ISOFIX points, found around the front passenger seat and outer rear seats. There are ISOFIX child seat lashing points within the outer rear seats and also within the front passenger seat. Perhaps of all concern to prospects buying a power car, many measures are actually introduced to prevent problems while using high-voltage electrical systems inside event of an effect. Of course, there's also the host of electronic safety systems. The thing is that on most new cars these days, for instance, stability control and traction control, there's fashionable speed limiter and cruise control functions. Lots of passenger space from the Zoe. High seating position means a stride up. Boot space measuring 3,381,225 liters. It's worth noting that practicality depends largely on what it's likely to end up used. For zipping around cities it's an absolutely serviceable tool, yet its range, cabin size and luggage capacity means longer journeys might be best left to bigger vehicles. There's space for 5 inside Zoe, but at location underneath the seats means there's a small step up for getting into the vehicle in the first place. Those within the back benefit from the flat floor though, as there's no transmission tunnel running the length of the auto. Compact external dimensions belie the level of room inside. The Zoe is concerning the same size since the Renault Clio but feels roomier inside. A jolly decent 338 liters of boot space, expanding to just 1,225 liters after you fold the seats down, not class leading but on par with hatchback rivals.